Good afternoon. Myself N. Karthikeyan, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science Engineering, Government College of Engineering, Singipati, Tanjavur. So here I'm going to talking about the concept of security investigation. Actually, so here just I mainly to focus on what are the different kind of threats and attack is possible, and there are different kind of the laws which is to cover to in order to gain some access when you are going to some when the particular user hack the information. So the first of all, just I'm going to talking about the security investigation in a particular organization. So that every organization have the primary mission that the system must to coordinate. Means that the content which is inside of the organization but it remains the same. So that is the major mission of every organization. So that so every organization always try to identify what are the different kind of always what is a different kind of resources which is possible to use by unauthorized persons. So so that the major mission mainly to focus on that the whatever the content we have, those content should be remain same, and those content should not be altered by any unauthorized persons. So that so that is a major objective of this concepts. So the first thing is, so whenever you're going to implement some security principle, I mean, so whenever you're going to implement some security concepts inside of an organization, the first of all, every organization must understand their environment, and also the what type of the information system which is available, and they need to identify, they need to address the actual and the potential problems which is related to those informations. So we know that so that the major asset of organization as an information. So, so whenever there is a something whether some information is hacked or some informations are misused, or it may be accessed by an unauthorized person, so maybe it will be threatened to us. So maybe it will be in a potential danger to us. So whenever you are going to if that any organization wants to implement the concept of security principle inside of the organization must understand the environment and know about what type of information methodologies they have. They from that they need to identify what is the actual and potential problem that is a possible which is associated with the information. So that every organization must apply the four important functionality whenever they are going to apply for the security principle. The first one is they are going to protect the organization ability to function. Second one, enabling the safe operations for every application. And the third one, so protect the data that the organization collect and reuse. And fourth one, safeguard the technology access in the use of that organization. So the first one is protecting the functionality of the organization. So in order to protect the functionality of any organization, the first of all, the decision makers to set a different kind of a policy, and based on that policy that the organization must operate, and that every technology which is used inside of the organization must be controllable. And also, so each of the organization communities must address the information security in terms of business standards, and also they need to define that the cost for interruption of the business interruptions, rather than for the technical issues. So here the main concept of this functionality is we are going to the decision maker, that is a high level management, need to define a different kind of strategies, a different kind of a strategy for in order to ensure the security principles for the organization. So that is the first one. And the second one is enabling the safe operations. So we know that normally this functionality is mainly to focus on IT management. So here the concept thing is here we know that the particular organization content. I mean here in IT industry we call as an application. So that applications are playing a major role in an organization. So that every organization, especially in IT organization, must play their applications and continue to monitor the works. So if it is an automated thing, so we have to think, and we have to always looking for whether that application runs without any trouble. So that is the concept of this enabling the safe operations, so that even those operations need not to be interrupted. And also if any cases it may be interrupted, and in this situation, so that means there is the information, maybe there is a possibility of lagging, means a leak of information to outside of the world. Now, here I need to say one simple example. I think everyone's know that now. So for every semester students need to undertake for an industrial visits. So if you are looking for an industrial which is for like MNC companies, always they are saying that there is a possibility of information leaks to outside world, so they outside of the organization, so that they are not ready to allow the students for the industrial visits. Because of they need to product their informations, so that with the help of there is a policy, and also even whatever the application they run in, they will not reveal anything to the outside of the organization. This is the major, this is the second functionality. And the third one is, we know that that is a data is a play a major role. So that here that a major objective is just I am going to producting the data that so the data producting the data that the organization collect and reuse actually. So if you have if you have any different kind of an application, without the data it is not possible to run any application. So if you are saying that I have a proper effective security program implemented in the particular organization, so the production, the need to be applied for the integrity of your organization data. So that means always we need to protect the integrity of the data. So that in order to protect the integrity of data, there are two possible ways the data is there. Maybe the data in a motion, or maybe the data in a rest. The data in a motion means that the data which is used in some manipulations. If you are talking about IT environment, the data moving in a network is called as a data in a motion. Or maybe the data used in a function, or maybe used in some calculation will be called as a data in motion. The second one is the data in a rest. It means that the data which is available in the storage, the data is already in the storage method, storage device, then it will be called as in a data in storage, in a rest. So that we need to identify the different kind of security methodologies in order to maintain, in order to secure the data in an organization. This is the third functionality. And the fourth one is that is called safeguarding technological assets in an organization. That means that we are going to safeguard the technologies. What are the technologies we used? So in order to apply the for a technology, for safeguard procedure for technological assets, we have to implement the proper infrastructure services in order to cover the size and scope of your enterprises. So normally they are following the concept of public key infrastructure, especially for IT management. They are always trying to go with the public key infrastructure. Actually, the public key infrastructure, it defines that. So this it is an integrated software, and also it have a different kind of encryption methodologies, and also they have a legal agreements with that all the employee. All that the employees of the organization, with the legal information with those who are used to support the entire infrastructure of an organization. So normally every organization to provide a PKI infrastructure, that is called public key infrastructure, in order to safeguard all the technologies what we use to forever. What we use in an organization. I repeat once again. Once in order to implement that, in order to estimate, or in order to identify that a mission, so that the thing is, we have to address your actual problems. So that it mainly focus on four functions. One is product that organization ability, and second one is enable the safe operations of application, and third one is product the data that the organization collected and reuse, and fifth one is the safeguard the technological is in the use in that particular organization. So these are the four major functionalities that need to be implemented in order to implement the effective security standard inside of an organization. Okay, so the next thing is just I move on to the next topic, that is called as a thread. So actually, if you are saying it is a thread, so I mean that it is a thread. Actually, there are two major problem which is associated with every organization. It may be a thread and attack. The first of all, just I am going to talking on the concept of a thread. So normally, thread is an object or other person, or it may be an entity that represents always the constant danger to your information agenda. Always, if we are saying that there is always, it is a constant danger to our information, those coming under the category of a threat. So in order to protect the organization information from a threat, so we need to look on two aspects. The first of all, you must know who is yourself. That is a know yourself. So that it means that the organization runs of enormous information. So we should identify what type of information need to be protected, and what type of information need to be stored, and where transport and process it. So that is called know yourself. And next one is, so for those protected information, so what are the threats we are going to face? So that is called as know the threats which will we face. So these are the two aspects we need to look on whenever you are going to product any organization information. Clear? Okay, so here just I'm going to talk, I'm going to give a one survey report so that indicates for a need for a security methodology for implementation of an organization information. According to the, in 2001, according to the survey of CSI, that is called Computer Security Institute, Federal Bureau of Investigation, it is a 72% of organizations, in 72% of organizations, the data is, that is reflected, it is a crime. And in that, due to that crime, so that is, so $141 million of information, so financial losses is happened. So after this survey, and that organizations are trying to implement the concept of security principle. So for that, automatically the losses of the average loss of information from every organization is reduced from 57% to 52% in 2005. So see that financial something they are recovered, so that it shows that the effective implementation of the security principle is more important. So we know that so if there is a possibility of hacking information, so maybe there is a financial problem. Every organization which suffer with the problem of a financial information. So in order to, so if you have a proper security principles in our organization, so maybe we have to reduce that amount of financial loss. So here I'm not saying that we are unable to have secure 100%, but we try to maximize that percentage of information for a insecure. So that's very, very important. So that here they are, first of all, just I'm going to looking on, there are different kind of threats. Actually, totally there are 12 type of threats is always to exist in our organization information. One is called acts of human nature or a failure, and second one is a compromise of intellectual property, and the third one is a deliberated act of trespasses, and the fourth one is a deliberate act of information extraction. So then third is a deliberate act of sabotage or vandalism, and the next is a deliberate act of theft. Next, a deliberate software attack, and a deliberate forces of nature, deviation in quality of service, technical hardware failure. Next one is technical software failures, and the next one is technological obsolescence. Okay, so we will look on one by one. The first one is acts of human nature or failure. Actually, we know that the human is always a constant danger to, it's a major constant threat to every organization. So the people, or maybe the act, it is performed by any person without intent or malicious purpose, the authorized user activities is, I think that without intent or with the intent, I mean some malicious property, they are trying to hack the information. And also maybe it will be happen due to the mistakes when whenever the particular information can be used by the people, maybe they can there is a possibility of making a mistakes. So this problem happen due to that inexperience. That means the person, those who are using that information have an inexperience, and also they have an improper training. And the next one is called as making incorrect assumptions. So these are the major reasons the organization information is accessed or maybe misused or maybe changed due to this human behavior. It may be with intent or without intent. Clear? Okay. So we know that now, so every organization employee with the greatest threat to that every organization, because they are more closely to closely with the data, because they are always to use those informations. So in order to reduce the impact of this threat, so we are providing proper training to the employees, and also we need to create an awareness of the changes and the importance of the security, and also that every information, if that particular information is accessed and modified by some people, they must to have a proper access control procedure for modification. Okay, so here let's discuss two examples. Means that it shows that the need for means that the problems which is associated with the human failure. In 1997 in April, the internet actually suffered one major disaster, that internet is suffered due to the problem of internet routing update problem. So that the 45% of the internet users are suffered by the 20 minutes, because that the updation of the routing file is changed there is some corruption in your internet routing protocol, your input file. So automatically the 45% of internet users are suffered in 2005. Sorry, in 1997. And also in same second one in July, actually that means that we know that it's a DNS server. In a DNS server that is improper, means that internet users suffer the problem due to the uploading of corrupted database file in a DNS server. So the DNS is a major protocol. It's a important protocol for making communication between client and server. So that instead of that they are entered the corrupted database, the CNS database file inside of that, so that automatically that the internet users are suffered. So these are some small examples for heart of human failure or maybe nature. So these problems can be rectified by giving a proper training, and also we need to create the awareness, and also we have a proper control. So these are the ways we are trying to reduce the impact of this issue. And the third one is called as compromises to intellectual property. So the intellectual property, that is a major issue. It's always we are looking on. So that the IP always defined that the ownership of ideas or control over the tangible or visual representation of the ideas. It means that we are the owner for our information. Clear? So if other person are trying to use the owner, our owner information, so with or without the loyalty permission or permissions. Clear? So if you want to use that information of other persons, always we need to have a proper loyalty. So it may be in terms of permission, or it may be some payments. Clear? Okay, so that is called compromise of intellectual property. I will give you one simple example for that. That is called software piracy. So I think everyone means we know that so some means that vendor applications have a licensed authorizations. So that now we are having some cracked version also. So it will be the cracked version also. So that it will be called as that is called software piracy. That means that it is a duplication of the software. It's called as a software piracy. And the third one is called as a deliberate act of trespasses. Actually, that it means that the unauthorized individual, it gains the access. That means that the person is the unauthorized, gain the access of the information of your protected information. So that is a way, that is a one method is called a shoulder surfing. It means that the unauthorized person they gain that information when the authorized persons are looking the information from a distance. So just I am an authorized person, I am looking at some information in my monitor, so that the unauthorized person gain the information by seeing that the value, my content from that distance. Maybe that with the knowledge of the person or without the knowledge of the person, it is called as a shoulder surfing. And next one is called a hacker. Hacker means that if you create a computer software to gain the access information illegally, so means that we are going to hack the informations and we are trying to use that information illegally. So that there are two types of hacker is possible. One is called as expert hacker, or maybe it is called as an elite hacker. If you are saying an expert hacker, that a hacker, it creates their script file and try to try to access the protected information. That is called expert hacker, or maybe we call as elite hacker. And the next one is called as an unskilled hacker. Unskilled hacker means that the hacker use the script file of other persons and try to access the concept of protected information. Then it is called as unskilled hacker. Another one more example is also we have to say it is related to hacker, that is called cracker. So that the individuals who crack or remove the software production for prevention of the software production. So for every software have a protector with the help of license. So we are going to unprotect it. So further there is called a cracker. Another one is called as a precar. Precar is called, we are hacking that public telephone booth network, and for making a free calls, then it will be coming under the category of precar. And the next one is deliberate act of information extortion. Actually here information extortion means that we are hacking the information, and with the help of that information we are getting some demand, some compensation in order to in order to avoid that information to leak to outside. So that is called a compensation. Simple thing, we are saying that it is called as kidnapping. Okay, so the next one is called as a deliberate act of sabotage or maybe a vandalism. So actually with the help of that, we are hacking some information. With the help of that information, we are trying to damage the name of the organization. That is called deliberate act of sabotage or vandalism. So a simple example is a cyber terrorism. So that they hack the system to conduct the terrorist activities through the network or internet pathways. Next one is called as a deliberate act of theft. So normally we know that it's always a constant dangers. That means that we are illegally taking the another property. That is called as a act of theft. So that the person will copy the information without the knowledge of the owner. It is called as a theft. But it is always the constant problem with every organization. And the next one is called as deliberate software attacks. The deliberate software attack means that it is a most familiar threat in an organization. So that the individual or group of designers to design a software to attack the system. So that it will be called, the code will be called as malicious code, or maybe a malicious software, or it may be called as malware. So with the help of this malicious code, that you for damage or destroy, deny the services of your targeted system. So that there are different kind of common malwares. The first one is called a virus. Virus is some segment of code that performs a malicious action. It means that it will try to hack the information. So if the particular virus is installed, if in the particular system, it takes the control of your own, entire machine, and it will try to hack all the information in the system. So normally this virus can be spread through the email, through attachments. And the next one is called virus. It takes the control of your own entire system. And the next one is called bombs. So actually it is also it is a malicious code, and it replicates itself. Actually, we no need to do any action. It replicates itself without requiring another program to run. So that so normally, if you know that if you are inserting a pen drive, so that there is one file will be copied multiple times. So that is called replications. So that is called as worms. Actually, for that, worms don't take the control of the entire organization. But it will be replicated itself. And the next one is called Trojan horses. The Trojan horses always to hide the natures, and also it reveals their exposure behavior only when they are going to activate it. So normally the virus is always be silent in the machine, and it will be reveal their action. That means you try to hack the information only on the particular period of a time. Then it is called as a Trojan horse. And the next one is called backdoor, or maybe we call as a trapdoor. So it means that with the help of some privileged skills, privileged knowledge, we are trying to hack the information. That is called as a backdoor or a trapdoor. It means that you are behaving like as authorized persons. And the next one is called as a polymorphisms. Here we can't define only the particular activity, the particular malicious code behave differently on different time, then it is called as a polymorphism. So these are the different possible type of malwares are there. There is a malicious codes are there. One is a virus, worms, Trojan horses, backdoor or trapdoor, and next one is called as a polymorphisms. Okay, I'll move on to the next one, that is called as a forces of nature. So we know that so the nature also make some disturbances with the organization information. So that the following factors suggest that these are the some of the problem which is associated with our nature. One is a fire, flood, earthquake, lightning. There is a power failure, landslides or mudslides, tornado, tsunami, and dust contamination. These are the some of the factors is always to have a constant dangers with from the natures. And the next one is deviation in quality of service. We know that the QoS is a very, very important parameter for any activity. So that here that always the quality of the service is very, very important. So that every organization must depend only on the different services which is provided by the organization. So whenever they are going to maintain information, the quality of service is very, very important. A simple example, I think maybe everyone know that. So now currently there is a one news spreaded that the WhatsApp is planning, means they have a problem of security issues. They are leaking the information to that Facebook. So that is important for the quality of service. Always we are looking for quality of, we are looking for information. We are looking for a safe environment But if the so if informing is not possible, then because we are looking only for the quality of service from that application, but we can't assure that the quality of service is not is 100%. So that is a simple example for that. So that it is a quality of service relying on internet service issues, power irregularities, and also communication with the other service providers. I mean that communication with the other devices. And the next one is called technical hardware failure. So that if the problem, we have some equipment in an organization, if something problem with that organization, then there is a technical issue. And also the software means that we are creating some bugs, so that automatically that we will get up some issues. And the next one is called technological obsolescence. That is called inadequate or outdated infrastructure we are providing for information information than organization. Simple example, maybe if you see that so always we will get some update for mobiles. So that, and also they said that for after this date, this application won't run on this machine or won't run in on this particular version. So like that, so that is called we are providing inadequate or outdated infrastructure for information for storing or maybe processing or transferring the information in an organization. So these are the 12 possible factors always to act is a constant danger to the organization.